Well, your client's production database just threw an error. There's a critical feature broken, and technically, this wasn't caused by your latest deployment. It's an infrastructure issue. You've got two choices. Tell them to contact their own DevOps team, or dive in and fix it yourself. Most agencies pick option one. They're technically correct, and they're also training their clients to see them as replaceable vendors instead of indispensable partners. The agency charging 2 or 3 times your rates, they're making the opposite choice. And that's not because they're pushovers. It's because they understand something about client relationships that most agency owners completely miss. I'm Kurt Schmidt, founder of Schmidt Consulting, and I help creative marketing and software development agencies grow their businesses. And I'm going to show you why agencies commanding premium rates are actually really good at something that feels totally backwards at first. Every agency owner has been burned by scope creep. Client asks for one quick thing, turns out to be 3 hours of work, or 3 days. Happens again and again and again. Pretty soon you're working for free and resenting every email. So you build walls, tighter contracts, detailed SOPs, change request forms. You get really good at pointing at the scope document and saying, hey, that's extra. And you're not wrong to do this. Boundaries matter. But somewhere along the way, a lot of agencies took it too far, and they became so focused on protecting their time, they forgot what actually clients are paying for. Clients don't pay you to stay inside the lines. They pay you to make their problems disappear. The difference between an agency that charges $50,000 for projects versus at $500,000 per project, it's not about their capabilities. It's about portfolio quality and how they handle the moment when something breaks. That's not their job. I worked with a development shop a few years back. Mid-sized, good work, decent client base. They pushed a routine update for a client on a Thursday afternoon. Everything tested fine in staging. Friday morning, the client's calling in a panic. A critical error flow is throwing errors. Turns out there was a conflict with a third-party payment integration they added months ago, something completely outside the agency's scope of work. Technically, it's not their problem. Different vendor, different contract. They could have said, you need to contact your payment provider and been completely justified. Instead, their dev lead spent the afternoon debugging someone else's integration, found a workaround, and got checkout working again. About 4 hours total. And guess what? They never invoiced for it. It maybe cost them $800 in labor. That client stayed with them for 3 more years though, and referred 2 other e-commerce companies. Conservative estimate? Well, that Friday afternoon was worth about $200,000 in lifetime value or more. That's what I refer to as risk absorption. You become the shock absorber between the client and all the chaotic stuff that happens when you're running a business. Now, I can already hear the pushback. Kurt, if I do all of that, clients will walk all over me. I'll be working for free constantly. And yeah, you're absorbing risk with every client on every issue. You're running a charity, not a business. I get it. But think about it strategically. You've got 3 types of clients. The bottom tier, price shoppers, constant scope battles, high maintenance. Don't absorb risk for these people. They'll take it and never appreciate it. Just get them in and get them out. The middle tier, decent clients, profitable work, but transactional relationships. Here you want to absorb risk selectively. When something really matters to them, step up. You're building equity. And the top tier, your best clients, your highest paying, your advocates, the ones that you want 10 more of, absorb risk liberally. Make their problems vanish. These relationships are worth protecting because they're very hard to get. I've seen agencies run the numbers on this, absorbing maybe 10, 15 hours a year out of scope work for top tier clients, maybe because it costs them a few thousand. Those clients stay twice as long and refer 3 times as much. The ROI is insane. Let's talk about how to do this without getting burned though. The key is making it strategic, not reactive. First, be clear about who gets this treatment. Not every client, not every issue. Make sure your team understands who your A-list clients are and that they are the ones that have the problems that really matter. Second, communicate what you're doing. When you absorb risk, don't do it silently. Send a quick note. Caught that payment integration conflict, tracked it down, got it handled. Normally, this would be outside your scope, but I didn't want checkout to be going down this weekend. Now, they know what you did. They know it was extra, and they appreciate it instead of just expecting it. Third, track it, not to build them later, but so you can see patterns. You can constantly absorb risk for the same client on same issues. That's the data you need to know whether or not the scope really needs adjusting, or this client just needs to graduate to a higher service tier. When you absorb risk well, something shifts in the relationship. They stop scrutinizing your invoices. They stop getting multiple quotes. They stop asking, can we do this cheaper or less expensive? Because you've demonstrated that you care about their success more than you care about their contract technicalities. A design agency I know had a client whose entire rebrand launch was scheduled for a Monday morning. Sunday night, the client realizes their email templates are rendering properly in Outlook. Something with their ESP's operating system or templating system. Nothing to do with the agency's design files. They could have said, well, that's the issue with your platform, or don't expect, Outlook to work on Monday. Instead, their creative director spent 3 hours on a Sunday night rebuilding the templates to work around the ESP's limitations. That client's been with them for over 5 years, increased their retainer twice, and refers them constantly. All because the agency showed up when it mattered instead of hiding behind paperwork. That's the Trust Multiplier. One moment absorbing risk buys you months of goodwill. And goodwill translates directly to retention and referrals. The agency stuck at commodity pricing? Well, they're obsessed with being technically correct. Well, hey, that's not in the contract. Technically correct. You need to submit a change request. Yep, technically correct. That's a third-party integration issue. Yes, again, technically correct. And also completely missing the point. Your best clients don't want a vendor who points at contracts when problems show up. Let me repeat that. Don't point at contracts when problems show up. They want a partner who solves problems. Full stop. The premium agencies get this. They've built their entire value proposition around being the team that makes chaos manageable. Yeah, they still have boundaries. Yeah, they still have processes. But when something matters, they step up. And clients pay a massive premium for that reliability. Look, this doesn't mean becoming a doormat. You still need boundaries. You still need profitable clients. You still need to say no sometimes. But if you're losing clients to agencies that aren't technically better than you, this is probably why. They're absorbing risk. You're deflecting. They're being partners while you're being vendors. Your challenge this week: identify your 3 best clients, the ones you could clone if you could. Now think about the last time each of them had a problem that was technically not in scope. How did you respond? If your gut answer is, well, I pointed them to the right resource, or I sent them a quote for the extra work, you could be leaving money on the table. Not today, but further down the line. Try something different next time. Absorb the risk, make the problem disappear, and then watch what happens to that relationship over the next 6 months. The surface game, your deliverables, your processes, your technical execution, that is table stakes. The real game is providing to clients that you're worth keeping around when things get messy. I'm Kurt Schmidt, and if this changed how you think about client relationships, hit the subscribe button because there's more agency growth insights coming your way. Thanks for watching.